Okay, so the recording is on. Let me get started with our presentation today. Today I'm going to talk about revolutionizing your notes using OneNote. Some of the benefits of OneNote is that you can access your notes from any device. And even if you're on a computer that doesn't have OneNote installed, you can still access your notes just by typing in a web address and logging in with your Stony Brook credentials, and you'll have access to your notes. Okay. Um, so again, you can access your notes from any computer. Um, Always, well, with me anyway, I have a couple of notebooks. I start new notebooks because I can't find other notebooks. I have papers everywhere, and it would be great if I could just have one place for notes that is keyword searchable. So that's one of the benefits that I find for OneNote, not to mention the fact that I can take my notes with me, read them from my iPhone, read them from an iPad, any computer, and always have my notes available to me. Okay, so how do you get OneNote? You may already have OneNote installed on your work machine if it's updated by client support or any of the IT professionals on campus. And if you don't have it, or if you want it on your personal machine, you can go to the Office 365 portal. So that's stonybrook.edu/Office 365. That's for West Campus users. East Campus users have a different license, but I think they also get OneNote as well. So East Campus users, I think you actually can use this same portal URL, stonybrook.edu/Office 365 to log in there, but you'd have to log in with your own Stony Brook credentials. I don't really know what those are. And if you're not sure, you can always call client support or put in a service ticket or call 444-HELP. Oops. You can get OneNote on your iPhone or your tablet by going to the Apple Store or Google Play. And then to sign in, it would be your Stony Brook credentials. East Campus users, oh, here's your sign in. It's your first.last at stonybrookmedicine.edu. While West Campus users, it's your first.last at stonybrook.edu. And then you put in your NetID password. So you put your email address on top and then your NetID password. So OneNote takes way better notes than I can do with a pen and a piece of paper. And these are just some of the finer points of taking better notes with OneNote. I'm going to show you how to do most of these. Like, you can have hyperlinks into your notes. You can make use of the camera on your iPhone or your iPad and take pictures of maybe what's on a chalkboard or a whiteboard. If you're close enough and you have a good mic, you can even record audio about what's being spoken about in the room. You can draw things. Let's say if you're doing some events and you have to figure out where tables should go and seating should go, by all means you can draw things, you can circle things and annotate things. So there's a lot you can do with OneNote that that I think is better than taking notes on pen and paper. Let me see. Again, I'm working on one screen, so it's a little hard for me to see the questions, but I'll take a break every now and again and answer some of those questions, okay? Now, I just want to show you a little bit about what the two different versions look like. So the top bar up here, this is the iPad app, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4 menu items. It's a very simplistic application, and so it has all the bells and whistles. But if you really want all the features, then you can download the full program onto your PC or Surface, And it has everything. It has all these menu items and every little granular thing that you can do with OneNote. Now, if you have, this is the PC program, this is the Mac program, this is the online portal when you log into Office stonybrook.edu/Office 365, and you can see here you don't have all the menu items as the full PC program. You have some, you have a lot, but not everything. And then here's the iPad app. So this is just a screenshot of comparisons of what you get with each. Okay, I think the Mac program has most of the tools, but not all of them. If you want all the tools and all the bells and whistles, that would be with your PC program. Okay, so let me see. Melissa writes, does it matter whether you get OneNote from SBU or download it on your own? Well, where are you downloading it from, Melissa? If you download it with your Stony Brook credentials, oh, from the iTunes store. Okay, so no, it does not if you're downloading it for your iPad. But you won't be able to download it onto your PC or Mac unless you log in with your Stony Brook credentials. Okay. All right, so I hope that answers your question. So let's look at the app. So I just got to switch gears here. Okay, can everyone see my iPad? Do you guys see that it says good? Okay, good. All right, because I'm working on one screen, so it's a little bit difficult for me. So you can see me like moving around and okay. So if you want to open up OneNote, you just tap on OneNote. I'll go back to the home screen. OneNote's this purple one right here down at the bottom. You can't actually see my finger tapping on this screen, so I'll try to go slow enough so that you know what I'm tapping on, and I'll try to be descriptive of what I'm going to tap on first. Okay, so I'm going to start at the top up here, and you see the three lines up at the top left, and that's what I'm clicking on now. And this allows me to access all the OneNotes, the notebooks that I have access to. So you can see here I have Nicole at Work, so that's my official Stony Brook OneNote notebook. Then I have training notes, that's something I created. Then I have the practice notebook. That's another thing. That's another notebook I created. And if I click on more, I can get to the last OneNote notebook, which was created by something else that's part of a committee that I'm on. Okay. Then right next to my name, if you click on the gear, this is where I can log in and out, change my account. If you download the app onto your iPad, you'll see a yellow bar that says you're not signed in, and it'll provide you with a button to sign in, and then you sign in accordingly with your first.last at stonybrook.edu or stonybrookmedicine.edu, and then with whatever password that goes along with that. So that for West Campus users, that would be your NetID. Okay, so I'm going to close this up. And I'm going to click on this little folder button next to the arrows. I'm just going to kind of go across. This allows me, anytime I make changes, to sync this notebook. And what syncing this notebook does is anytime I make a change on the iPad here, it'll sync it. When I click on sync this notebook, it'll sync it to the online version. So I can log into the Office 365 portal, and I'll see everything I put on my iPad. I'll see it on there immediately. Otherwise, it takes just a couple minutes or a couple seconds, a couple extra seconds. So it's kind of like refreshing. If I want to see the changes on another device, I can just hit sync, and it kind of refreshes the notebook, and it will sync across all devices. Okay. And then you got these two arrows, the undo and redo. Okay. Across that way, you have home. Okay. And home provides you with, you know, your basic formatting. You can see here that you have, if I can click on it. Oh, just so you know, and this always tricks me. All these buttons under home is grayed out. and it'll stay grayed out so I can't touch them until I actually tap or type in on the paper, on the workspace. So let me type on this page how OneNote is organized. Okay, so now that I tapped it, my buttons become live and the keyboard pops up. Okay, I'm going to push the keyboard back down. And before I go further in the menus, I just want to note how OneNote is structured. Okay, and I see people commenting. I'll get to those in a minute. So right underneath the home menu, you have I have a tab, OneNote Tips, Professional Development, Staff Meetings, Quick Notes. I can add more tabs. Okay, they're called sections. I like to think of them as chapters. Okay. So for every topic, if you're a student, maybe have a tab for every course. If you're a staff member, maybe have a tab for every aspect of your work. So maybe you have 1, 2, 3 committees, so you'll have 1, 2, 3 tabs. And then maybe you have staff meetings, so that will be another tab. And then maybe you have some other components of your job. So each one of those, if you compartmentalize what you're doing into chapters, you can have a tab for each chapter of your work life. I'm going to go click back onto the first tab. Under each tab, you can add a page. And see right underneath the OneNote Tips tab, you can add plus page. You can add a new, oh, you can't see anything. Oh geez. Okay, let me reset that again. Let's start again. My apologies. Yeah, I can't see anything either. Okay. Oh, I know what to do. Let me see. Stop sharing. Share my screen. iPad. Share. Okay, now do you see my iPad? Here, I apologize for that. Now do you see it? Okay, all right. I apologize for that. Okay, so I guess I got to start a little bit at the beginning, but okay, so the 3 lines up top show me, everyone can see that, right? They show me all the workbooks that I have access to. Okay, that's the top left. Then I have my menu items. I have home, insert, draw, view. You see that? And then below that, I have my tabs. OneNote, professional development, staff meetings, quick notes, new section. All right? So those are the chapters that I was talking about. Then below that, we have pages. So the OneNote tips pages, if I want to see what the page is under professional development, I can tap that. And I have 2 pages under professional development. These were the 2 symposiums that I went to that I made notes on. If I want to see all my staff meetings, I have a staff meeting for January and a staff meeting for February. Okay, so let me go back to the OneNote tips. So essentially, the tabs are organized as like you see in a filing cabinet, and it's inside each folder in the filing cabinet would be your pages here. Okay, does that make sense? Again, I apologize for not being able to see the screen earlier. So if I want to create a new page, I just tap New Page, and then I have to type in a title for that page. So I'm just going to call this Test Page. We're going to put all our bells and whistles on this test page. Okay. And again, and this always tricks me, is the menu items, so I'm on the home menu, are all grayed out and I can't use them until I actually tap on the page. So I'm going to tap on the page. Okay, and everyone can still see, right? And then I can just go ahead and type. And I'm not really typing anything. Okay. I can do, you know, my, oh, what is this? So I can do test 1, enter, test 2, enter, okay. And then I can also go a little bit further. So I have test 1, test 2, and whatever I wrote. If you look all the way over towards the right, you see a little star. But if I click on that checkbox, it makes little checkboxes for whatever I'm going to type. Okay? So if you have an action items list, you can create it with the little checkboxes, and as you get done, you can check off each one. So I thought that was a clever little feature. Okay, you can you know, indent if you want to. Okay, so I just indented some text. If I go to insert, I have a bunch of items that I can do here. I can insert a table. Table is just like a bunch of cells. Like, let me just tap on my page, and I can click on insert and move my page up a little bit and just start typing. The keyboard is taking up a lot of the room on this, so I have to show it, type, and then remove the keyboard. Apologize about that. I have my iPad in landscape mode, and that's the only way I can do it. Okay. For picture, I can pull pictures. Oops. From what's already on my camera roll. Okay. And I can use my camera to take a picture of my setup here. Okay, and you can see here, this is what I'm looking at. And to go scroll up and down, I just take my finger and pull up the page. Okay. All right. So I see, Dr. Holmes, are you able to use a stylus and handwrite? Yes, you are. I am getting to that. So let me tap on the page again. That's in the draw menu. Let me just finish up the insert menu. So for audio, I can record my audio, and you can see on my screen, I hope you can see it on my screen, that I'm actually recording my voice. And if the acoustics is good in a bigger classroom and I'm far away from the instructor, I might be able to record what they're saying. It depends on how good your microphone is. So I'm going to stop recording. And then if I want to hear that, I can just tap on the little Audio 1 icon, and then there's a play button. I don't know if you could hear that over this webinar, but it works. I heard it. I can attach a file. I don't think I have any files on this iPad, so that won't work for me right now. Okay. PDF printout is, it pulls from, let me get my notes. You have to set up locations where you would have PDFs. It's not a feature to print out what's in your OneNote. I thought it was misleading. So it's a way to pull PDFs in, not create PDFs. You can create a link, tap my page again. Hey, I'm tapping. Okay. Oops. Tap. All right. I can add a link. Here's where you add your address and what it should display. And you can add an equation. So I'm just going to open up another page so I can add an equation. So I can try to write my equation with the keyboard that I have here, or I can tap equation and it says put equation in there, and then I can just do something like so you get the idea. And then put an equal sign, and then C2. To make that little arrow, I'm using the little caret that you'll find above your number 6 on your keyboard. Okay, so there's my equation. Okay, and then if I want today's date, I just tap the date field. So let's go to draw because that's the fun one. And here, I'm going to just create a new page. So if I want to draw something, I can pick one of my markers. So I'm going to pick this sort of blunt one. And then I could pick a color, so I picked green. And then I could pick the thickness, so I can hit the plus sign that you see up top. And then I can draw. That's a little thick. But let's say I want to draw my, I don't know, my table arrangement for an event. I can do that, and maybe here's the podium. I'm going to do a new page. If I want to make nicer shapes, I can tap the convert to shape, and then I can draw my circles here. Okay, and then here's my podium. When you're going to draw mode, you can specify if you're using a pencil by 53 or another stylus. The pencil by 53 is a stylus that it's a very fancy stylus. It's about $50, and when you press harder on it, it makes a thicker line. When you flip the pen around, it acts like the eraser, like this one right here. So this is the eraser. But if you're not using the fancy stylus, you can choose other stylus, and then you have to tell it how do you hold your pen, so that way it doesn't get whatever when your hand rests on the page, it doesn't pick that up. Okay. You can also go to a page and still draw. So I'm gonna, I'm on the highlighting tool, so I can highlight text if I want to. Here's how I highlight text. And then let's go to view. I think that's the last menu. There's some things here. You can change the paper color if you want, so I'll make that like a little bit of a yellow paper. One of the things that I have found, I'm going to switch back to the slides. So let me just, I want to show you some screenshots that I took. Stop sharing. And then share again. Share my screen. Okay, can everyone see my slides? All right, thank you. So this I found really interesting. I was able to take a picture of anything with text on it, and then I can make it searchable. So this is just some text that I wrote. I tried to make it as the neatest handwriting as possible because I really wanted it to be able to search. And I can do a keyword search, and it finds it on a picture, on an image. So what that means is if you were to take a picture of a receipt or a document with text on it, you can do a little bit of setting. You got to change some settings, but OneNote will read it as text. It's called OCR. Okay, so here's another picture to show you what I'm talking about. I just took a picture of this paper, and when I copied the text onto this slide, this is what it got. So it was pretty good. So it actually recognizes text on an image, which I think is extremely powerful. If, let's say, somebody sends you a handout, but they don't have enough handouts, you can just take a picture of the handout and put it right into your OneNote. Okay, and the way I get this text here is I just right-click on the image and then click Copy Text from Picture. Now, it's not that great. Like, this is really the only word it took from this picture that I have right here. But again, this is my handwriting, my best handwriting. If we go back, this is, actual typed in font on a computer, so it's a little bit better at that. It doesn't read my handwriting as well. Okay. Also, in the future, if you want to make this text searchable, you have to select it so. So that's the only caveat to images. So every image you post in OneNote, you just have to right-click, make text and image searchable, and then choose your language of choice. And then now you can always use the search bar to find anything, to find any text in any photo that you pull into OneNote. Okay. All right. So do you have any, let me check and see the comments that we have here. I'm going to stop sharing. Okay. Okay, so I got a few comments. No one was able to see my screen. I really apologize about that. So I see that Melissa's typing. What other comments do you guys have about this? I can show you what the what OneNote looks like on my computer if you like that. Otherwise, it's 2 o'clock, and but I'm more than happy to stay online. How do you right click when not using a mouse? Yeah, well, that's one of those little extras that you won't get on the iPad, but you'll get when you're working on OneNote from your personal computer. So, the iPad has a few, note-taking features, but then you can really do a lot more things on your computer. Does OneNote convert handwritten notes into regular type? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't show you that one. Okay, we're still connected. Good. Okay, let me show you that one. Actually, the way that works is, let me bring up OneNote on my PC because that only works on your PC. Share. Come on. Okay, does everyone see? Does everyone see my business card? All right. Okay, so let me just open up another page, and I'm going to draw. Oh, I'm going to try to draw my name. Yeah, on a mouse pad. That's not really good. If you have a stylus, it'll work better, but I don't have a stylus on my PC right now. And then if I were to click ink to text, let's see. So for some reason, see this ink to text, convert handwriting to text? That will usually take your handwriting and make it into something. But I'll do a test on my iPad, and then I'll draw something on the iPad and convert ink to text. Let me just do that really quick. Oops. I'll just write my name. Okay. So here's the page that I just wrote on my iPad. It says untitled. Give it a few minutes to sync. So I just wrote that on my iPad and it's synced. And then you're supposed to be able to, oh, there it is. So now it's nice and not grayed out. And if I click on that, there's my ink to text. So let me see. Melissa writes, so I'm located in the hospital and I have a desktop, MacBook, iPhone, and personal iPad. Should I contact to get OneNote downloaded? You know what, Melissa, first see if you can still see my computer screen, right? So if I go to the Start menu, just do a search in the Start menu and see if you have OneNote. Okay, so I have OneNote here. If your machine is, for your work machine, see if it's downloaded on there. And can you check really quick? Does anybody else have any questions? All right, so if you want to learn more about OneNote, I am having an in-person workshop where everybody's on a computer, and what I usually do in the workshop is I show how to share a OneNote notebook, and then we all play with these features on here. Okay, and that's about an hour and a half course, and I think that's in May. Okay, Melissa, then when and where? So let me see. It is um, it is May 24th at 9 a.m. And if you register for that, here's the registration page. Let me get that for you. Okay, so that's the registration page. And here, let me send that to you here. You got that, Nafis? There you go. I just sent it. Okay. All right. So if you have any other questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll just stay on the line. Thank you for attending and bearing with me. And if you need any assistance, please feel free to contact me. I'm more than happy to work with you on any of these do-it technologies. Thank you. Bye. Thank you, Melissa.